All right, got my little co-host here. Let's go over some signings over the last few days, shall we? Dan Hamhuis today was signed by the Nashville Predators. What I like about this, Hamhuis probably ends his career where he started it. 2-year deal worth 1.25 million per year. Yeah, Hammer can be your number 6 guy or number 7 guy. In Nashville, odds are he's probably going to be exactly that. The number 6 in case of injury, could be a number 7 otherwise. Um, Mark Jankowski signs a 2-year contract with Calgary worth 1.675 million. That's pretty darn near perfect, which kind of throws me off because Calgary. There you go, Kitty. Um, with Jankowski, they could have ended up overpaying for those 17 goals he had this past season. I could have seen that happening, and yet they haven't. So congratulations to Calgary for getting Jankowski and not overpaying for those 17 goals. Brooks Orpik re-signed with Washington on July 24th, yesterday, and leaves us all wondering what took so long. Seriously, I mean, there wasn't anywhere else he was going to go. He's 37 years of age. He just won a Stanley Cup in Washington. Clearly, he was going to return to the Washington Capitals. Other interesting signings: Marco Dano resigns. Tucker Poolman gets a 3-year contract worth $775,000 each. So that's a very reasonable contract by the Winnipeg Jets for a defenseman who kind of came out of nowhere last year and played relatively well. Brandon Montour gets a 2-year, $3.3875 million a year contract from the Anaheim Ducks. Montour's one of those guys that I found myself kind of inadvertently cheering for last year in Anaheim. Kind of threw me, but I like his play a lot. I think he's a good player. I think he's a very solid defenseman, and smart move by the Ducks. And then Joel Edmondson, I believe. Let me double check. Yeah, Joel Edmondson signs a 1-year, $3 million a year extension with St. Louis. Smart moves all around. I think what gets me about the way that contracts work this year and last year, I've noticed there's not a lot of crazy. There's not a lot of money getting thrown out there that we're saying, wait, they're paying how much for this guy? And that was something that had been happening up until last summer's when it seemed like GMs got their act together, and they've continued to do so this summer. So guys are getting what they're worth. Not a whole lot more. And it feels to me anyways like GMs are doing a lot less speculating on what a player might be later is going to be. We'll pay him because, he was a top prospect, top draft pick, and they're paying them based on what they've done. So good on GMs for figuring this out. But there you go. Those are the signings over the last couple of days. Hammer back to Nashville, and the other ones are basically re-signings. So there you go. Just a couple of things that went on while I was on the road and then while I was sleeping. So there you go. Now I'm up and I'm home. I'll be back on top of all this stuff for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happen to be browsing through. And as always, Shadow's back at my feet. So, that kind of feels like that's kind of what's supposed to happen, isn't it, Shadow? Right. Thank you guys again. I'll talk to you again soon.